Hello and welcome to Boardgame TV. Today's Fantasy Friday, and we're starting a new series, Pathfinder, the adventure card game, Rise of the Runelords. Brief introduction. Right off the bat, I didn't know anything about Pathfinder. Still really don't know anything about Pathfinder, Pathfinder World, and all that kind of stuff. As a kid in the 80s and 90s, when I was growing up, I played Dungeons and Dragons. Enjoyed it. Loved it, as a matter of fact. Then I grew older and grew a little bit out of it. But those memories always stuck with me. When I got into board games, I kind of wanted something to emulate that. And a good fantasy setting type game. And when I got into board games, there really wasn't that many. I mean, there's hundreds of fantasy games now. But when I got into board games, there really wasn't that many. There was Descent, which we've gone through, but I also wanted a good deck building game. Well, I saw this game, and so I did some research and watched some playthroughs of it and all that kind of stuff. And people seemed to enjoy it. They seemed to like it. Looked pretty good. So I made the investment and I purchased the base set for Rise of the Runelords. It's a pricey purchase, but I think it's well worth it. You get a lot of bang for your buck. The few complaints that I have about this game. I think the one complaint that a lot of people have about this game is that it's short on story. You don't really get a feel or know of the world and the people in it and all that stuff. You get brief snippets here and there, but for and I've seen the Pathfinder products at my local board game, comic book store. Hell, you go to Books A Million, they got them, or Barnes and Noble, or just your good chain bookstores. And it looks like a really vast and interesting world. It's just you don't really get that with this. I think that is the one big bugaboo of this, but if you can look past that and you enjoy a good, in-depth deck building fantasy board game, then hey, Pathfinder is great. I also like the way they have it set up, and we're going to look at that for a second. Okay, so here's my tray. As you can see, it's got a few things with it. The way they have it set up, and they tell you how to set it up in the instruction booklet. They tell you where to put the adventure decks, where to put those cards, where to put other cards, character decks, and stuff like that. So it keeps, this is a very good strong point for these games. This keeps this thing well organized. And so it makes, when you set your game up, really easy. It doesn't take that long at all. That could have been a big bugaboo with this game, but hey, man, kudos to them. I'm just going to say that. Kudos to them for this. Of course, this has been emulated a lot now. And it may not even be that they began it. I know there's other deck building games before this that did this, but they did a real good job. So when you buy the base set, you get some starting characters, and they sell character packs, so you can always add more characters. So you get a certain amount of cards, and you can play through the first adventure deck. It comes with this, the first adventure deck one inside the box when you buy it. Burnt Offerings adventure deck. So you get that with your base set of stuff. And then the way it goes is every month or so they release a new adventure deck. Like this is adventure deck 2, the Skinsaw Murderers adventure deck. Okay. And then they do that up to 6, and basically you go through and you play through each adventure deck 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and you come to an end and a final conclusion, and you take your characters that you picked all through to the end. And instead of releasing everything at one time, they release it like, you know, a month here, a month there. And when you get your adventure deck, you take your cards out and you'll have like your armor cards. And like as you can see, we have B, which is the base set. That means B is base. And then you take your armor 1, that's stuff you get in the first one. And then you put it behind the B, and then you take your armor 2 when you get the second set and you put it in there. And you do it the same with all the other cards. It makes it real easy to have setup, organization, and everything. Then you have your characters. Now, my only other bugaboo, and I keep saying that, with this is these character cards. I wish that these had been laminated, because see, in this game you can get upgrades to your characters. You basically level and all that kind of stuff. And as you can see here, you can choose your hand size, all kinds of different things, how many cards. You can choose what skills to upgrade. And as you can see, my idiot self did it with pen. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I did that, but I did it with pen because I'm an idiot. Okay, now you can do it with pencil and erase it, but I kind of wish that those parts, just those cards, you didn't have to do the whole game like that, just those cards could have been laminated, and they could have give you a little marker, that simple erase marker. You could erase it after every time you play, and that kind of thing. Pencil, you know, could still leave good erase marks, and I think I would have liked it if they'd done that. Other than that, those are my only two complaints. I think the instructions are well written, easy setup. As you can see, they tell you how to set everything up. They go over everything. They're not too drawn out. You can have solo play and everything. Rise of the Runelords Pathfinder Adventure card game. See, you get a little introduction, and they give you a little bit in there. But like I said, the Pathfinder is such a huge, expansive realm, and I just think they could have did a better job on the story parts. See, because like you'll get these adventures. Like, let's go over this. We're not going to do the B. We're just going to go straight into the adventures. Okay, so like I'm going to show you how this goes. We're playing Burnt Offerings. This is Adventure 1. You have these scenarios: Attack on Sandpoint, Local Heroes, Trouble in Sandport, Approach the Thistletop, and Thistletop Delve. Okay. You play through each scenario. Each scenario basically tells you what to do. So like we'll take Attack on Sandpoint. Okay, here's scenario 1, Attack on Sandpoint. Depending on how many players you have, it tells you what locations to put on the board. So if we play with 3, we'll put all these locations right here on the board, which will end up being 5 locations. And then you get a little story with it, and it has some special rules. Okay, and it tells you what villains and everything to seed your decks with. Okay, and then so each town location is going to tell you what type of cards to put in that deck, and so it's real easy to set up. Then once you play through all these adventures, you'll get rewards for your character to level up and stuff like that, and then you'll move on to the second adventure. Now, it can take about a good hour or so, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more, to play through one scenario. So you know, you get a lot of play time and play through with this. And plus it gives you also, you have a basic kind of like tutorial, I guess, little prelude thing, Perils of the Lost Coast, that comes with the pack. So and it says Adventure B Basic, and you'll use cards that have B. And so once you play through an event, so if you're playing through a B adventure, you won't use any Adventure 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 of those cards. You'll see the decks with B cards. And then when you play Adventure 1, you won't be having scenario 6 cards in there. No. You just don't. You don't take all the monsters and mix them up and just throw them in there. That's not how it works, because when you get to like a higher scenario than the one you're on, the monsters are harder, and you don't have the stuff to really fight them at that point in time. So you don't mix up all your cards, and just like a lot of games you can do that with expansions and stuff like that. You just mix them all in one pile and say, hey, here you go. It's not how it works in this. When you get your Blessings deck or any other deck, as you can see, you know, you have like let's say monsters. We have monsters, as you can see. Here's Monsters B. So you'll see when you play Adventure B with the Monsters B deck. Then you have Monsters 1 when you play Scenario 1, and then when you do Monsters 2. Now, if you're doing monsters like Adventure 2, you can see the deck with below. So like if you're playing Adventure 4, you could see the deck with stuff 4 and below. But you don't want to do 6 stuff in there, in that. So that's a basic short little quick overview of it. I'm going to get this set up. We're going to play, you know what, I changed my mind. We're going to play Perils of the Lost Coast. We're going to have 3 scenarios for this. We're doing 1 scenario at a time, and we're going to get started on our Pathfinder campaign to take a little break from Descent. And we're going to go through all 6 of these scenarios and try to complete this campaign. And then once we do that, we'll go back to Destiny and do another campaign on Descent. I've been playing Destiny for the PlayStation recently. I guess that's why I got Destiny on my mind. Yeah, sorry about that. Destiny 1, at the end of its lifespan, great game. Well, not so great when it first came out, but at the end of its lifespan, between the Taken King and Rise of Iron and all the stuff, great game. Destiny 2, ugh. I'm sorry about that. So I'll get this set up and we'll get back and we'll start playing. Alright, so I got the game set up, as you can see. Let's go over what we got. We have our dice. We have our locations. And remember, Brigandoom told you what locations to put out. We're playing with 3 players, so I had to put out the woods, the waterfront, the farmhouse, the wooden bridge, and the academy. So as you can see, I put out these 5 locations. Now, this location, let's take the waterfront for instance. It tells me that I need to put 4 monsters, 2 barriers, 1 item, 2 allies, and 0 blessings in this deck. So I put all those cards in that deck, shuffled them up, plus, well, I'll tell you that in a second. And I formed my deck. And then it has special rules. When playing a weapon, subtract 1 from each die rolled. After your exploration, you may discard 2 cards, explore again. When closing, summon and defeat a bandit henchman. Okay. And then when permanent closed, on closing all characters in this location, discard a card. Okay. So I did that with each deck. Now, Brigandoom also says there's a villain that we're going to have to defeat. Brigandoom says that we have henchmen, and which are bandits, and our villain is Jubrel Vishki. I don't know. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. And then it's, you know, we have a special ability. If a monster's power causes you to recharge 1 or more cards, do so, then draw the same number of cards. And we'll get into that when it comes time to do it. So we have henchmen or bandits, and we have our villain. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to find and defeat the villain. and we're trying to close locations, basically. So I took 4 henchman cards and 1 villain, mixed them up, and then shuffled them in with these location decks. So the waterfront, for instance, is going to have either 1 bandit henchman in it, or it's going to have our villain. And then if it had our villain, then the other places will have the bandit henchman. Okay, so the ultimate goal is to defeat the villain. However, we don't know where he's at. We don't know which deck he's in. So we have to explore the deck, come across encounters, and let's say we explored the farmhouse and we come across a bandit henchman. Well then, hey, we can close this deck. We can close this location. So then you beat the bandit guy, and then when closing, you can summon and defeat a random monster. And if you do that, you close this location. And this location is closed. You'll flip the card, blah blah blah, and that's closed. The reason you want to close the location is because, let's say you run into our villain. Let's say you're at the wooden bridge and you run into the villain and you beat him. Well, he can move. What you'll do is he can move to another location that's open. He's not permanently defeated. So what you'll do is you'll take some cards from the blessings cards, add them in with your villain. Like if we had 4 more locations open, let's say we met the villain at the woods, we beat him, but he's going to flee to another open location. Well, we take 3 blessings cards and our villain, shuffle them, and then put him in one of these put those cards, put 1 card in each one of these open locations. So each location is either going to get a blessing or the villain. So that's what's going to happen. So you want to close locations so the villain can't run around to each other location. I know that will be hard if you come up against the villain first rather than one of his henchmen. He's going to move. But if you defeat a henchman, you're going to want to close the location. You don't have to, because there's beneficial cards. You may close a location, you may get halfway through the deck and say, like the Academy, okay, they have 5 spell cards in here, okay, so you may get halfway through the deck and your wizard here, like I got a wizard here who likes spells, so you know what, I don't want to close that location. I know the villain can come here. I beat the henchman. I know the villain could escape to here if he's at another location and somebody meets him, but there's some more good spell cards in here, and I want to, buff my deck and get some of those spell cards. So I'm going to leave it open and then keep exploring until I get to the end, and then when there's no more cards there, then I'll close that location. So you could always try to do that. The same with, there'll be some locations that have a lot of weapons and stuff like that, and you want to try to get stuff like that. So it's a risk-reward type thing. Do I want to leave it open and try to get better cards or more cards, or do I want to go ahead and close and just try to complete this scenario? This is our blessings deck here. Now at the start of each turn, we're going to flip, and we'll go ahead and flip the first blessing here. This is kind of like our timer. When this blessing deck runs out and we have not completed this scenario, we lose. Okay, and basically you're going to ignore anything on here. This is just a timer, except if you have a certain blessing card that's the same as this one, you might get some bonuses. There are different blessings. So like this is a blessing of Serenare or whatever, but there's different blessings. So if I play a blessing card that is the same as this one up here, then I can get certain bonuses when I play that card. Now let's take a look at our characters. Okay, and we'll just go over. Now I've chosen Ezrin, who's a wizard, Valeros, who's a fighter, and Kyra, who's a cleric. Okay, and you get your character and you get a little bit of backstory, and see here is male human fighter. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is it tells you what kind of cards you want to put in your starting hand. So I start my deck. My starting deck is built with 5 weapons, no spells, 3 armor, 2 items, 2 allies, and 3 blessings. So I'll put those number of cards in my deck, and here's my deck. Okay. Then I have my skills, and it tells you whenever I use strength, I roll a die 10. It tells you what kind of die. And if I have a melee, I have a melee trait here. And if I use melee, I get +3. So if I were to fight a monster, I would roll a 10-sided die. And if I were just to have a melee type thing, I get to add +3 to whatever my roll would be. So I'd roll a 10. Well, +3 is 13. So that helps me out there. And as you can see, I'd roll a die 8 for my dexterity, constitution, a die 6 for my intelligence, a die 4 for wisdom, and a die 6 for charisma. And then I have this little diplomacy trait where I would get +2 for a diplomacy trait. And it'll tell you when you can use it. Like, you'll see. You'll see when I have to use it. It also tells me my hand size. So I have a hand size of 4. So now as I level up, I can choose to get my hand size bigger. And I'm proficient with, you see where I already, just ignore the ink marks, okay? Pretend I haven't marked any of these things, okay? As you can tell, I've played with them before. So if I can like add a power, I can say, like, if the end of a scenario, it says, you know, add a power, add a skill. I can choose, well, let me see, do I want to be proficient with light armor, heavy armor, or weapons? See, and if you're proficient with something, you get better usage out of it, and you get bonuses. Or do I want to up my hand size? I want my hand size to be 5, because I have these 4 cards. That gives me less than, like, say, my wizard here, who has a hand size of 6. He has way more options he can play during his turn. Okay, and then also you get these little things right here. Those are your powers. When you play a weapon, you may recharge it instead of discarding it. And we'll go over what that means in a second. But, and here's my hand. Here's my deck. This is my life, okay? When I run out of cards, I'm dead, okay? That's how this game plays. So, let's say on a turn, Valero's here. I go explore. So he'll go explore. Say I go explore Wooden Bridge. I'll take the top card of the deck, flip it, and see what it is. If it's an item or something like that, I can try to obtain it. And when I try to obtain it, I'll put it here in my hand. If it's a monster, I'll fight it, defeat it, discard it. If it's a trap or something, try to defeat it, discard it. That type of thing. Okay, so, but if it's an item, I put it here. Now at the end of my turn, I have to discard back down to my hand size. Okay? And I'm going to have a discard pile. So let's say, okay, there's my discard pile right there. I can never have more than 4 cards in my hand at the end of my turn. I can have as many as I gain during my turn, but at the end of my turn I have to discard down to my hand size. Okay, let's say there was a really good weapon in there and I got it. Let's say I got a fire axe or something, and alright, so I say, you know what, I got this fire axe. It's gonna put my hand size at 5. It's the end of my turn. I'll just go ahead and discard one of these blessings that I'm not really going to use, and then keep my axe. Okay, there we go. That's how that works. Now let's say I were to fight a monster and I were to lose. Okay, and let's say I were to take damage. Let's say he would have caused me 3 damage. Well, then I would lose 3 cards, put them in my discard pile, and then, you know, at the end of my turn, redraw up to my hand size. So that's the thing. Now, as you can see, you can lose. The more cards you use on a turn, the more you're going to draw from this pool for your next turn, and then that's the sooner you're going to run out of cards to play. Now you can recharge cards, bury cards, okay, and a few other things. Okay, recharge. Put it face down at the bottom of your character deck, so it goes back into my deck. So it comes back, so I don't ever have to discard it for real. So it can keep coming back. Okay, that kind of prolongs your life. Bury a card. Put it under your character card. Okay, let's say I would have to bury the spike change. Well, I would put it under my character card. Okay, I can't use it for the rest of this scenario. However, at the end of the scenario, when you've completed the game, all the cards you get to pick and choose which ones you want to keep. Let's say I got a ton of new weapons from exploring, and I don't like the weapons I got in my base hand, so I'm going to replace those weapons. But I do like the spike chain, so I get it back at the end when you rebuild your deck. After every scenario, you're going to go back through and rebuild your deck. Okay, you can never have more than your limit unless you start adding bonuses. Like right now, I can only have 5 weapon cards. Until I level up and check mark that 6, that gives me 6 weapon cards, which also adds cards to my hand, gives me more life, but adds me more weapons. So that's how that's going to work. So you want to, as you go through these scenarios, you want to get the better weapons. The wizard wants to get the better spells. The cleric wants to get the better stuff like this flaming mace and stuff like that. Okay, so that's how that kind of works. If you die, there are ways to get brought back to life. However, at low levels, it's not likely going to happen. So if you die during a scenario, you're dead the rest of this whole entire adventure. You cannot reuse this character again. Okay. As you can see, you can also help each other out. You can build your things. You add proficiencies, skills, and stuff like that. Okay. Blessings, like this one right here, lets you add die. Like this, if you encounter this card, you automatically acquire it. So if it were one of those decks, I might acquire it. This card, add 1 die to a check. Okay. Let's say I'm doing a dexterity check, and I want to add a die, and I want to play this blessing. I'm going to say, well, you know what? I don't like my chances of completing this dexterity check here. So I'm going to play this blessing of the gods, and it's going to give me another 8-sided die. I have to use an 8-sided die because that's the die I'm originally using for my dexterity check. I couldn't just mix and match die. I couldn't say, let me grab a 20-sided die. It says add a die, let me grab a 20-sided die to check. No, you have to use the same kind of die you're using for your original check. So I would discard this card and get another die, and boom. That's how that works. Like spike chain, here's a weapon. For your combat check, reveal this card to roll your strength or melee, plus 2 die 4. Okay, now when you reveal a card, just, hey, here it is, blah, blah, blah. It's still here. It's revealed. It's right here. Okay, so let's say I wanted to fight a goblin. Now I want to use my spike chain. Alright, so I revealed it. So I get to reveal it to roll my strength or melee. Well, now, my strength or melee is a die 10. Now, plus 2 die 4. Okay, so I get 2 4-sided die. You may additionally discard this card to add another 1d6. So I'm like, this goblin may be a little tough, or is he easy? I think I'll just keep this card here and not have to worry about my 1 die 6, because I want to keep the spike chain, do it. But if I'm going up against a really tough foe, yeah, I may have to discard this. Let me discard this, and I'll add a die 6. Bah. If you aren't proficient by weapons, the difficulty of this check is increased by 4. See, so you got to be proficient with this. And right now, I am not. Okay, so But if I was, I wouldn't have to worry about that. And then also, if I wanted to be a real greedy Gus, I could say, hey man, I could play this Blessing of the Gods too. Let me discard this. I'll get to add 1 die to my check, and my base strength check is another D10. So I get to roll all these dice to beat this monster. And let's just take this basic monster here, this sneak, and I got to get 9 or higher. I can roll all these dice and roll 9 or higher. I beat that. So that's how that works. If I don't beat it, let's say I were to roll an 8, well, he does 1 damage on me. If I were to roll a 7, he does 2 damage on me. So I have to discard 2 cards. So that's how that works. Let's see here. See, and what I was talking about the Blessings deck. It says, if the top card of the Blessings deck discard pile matches this card, recharge this card instead of discarding it. So it is. So if I wanted to play this, I could recharge it instead of discarding it. Of course, the cleric will have things to where he can let me heal. He can take cards from his discard pile and put them back in his deck. People can explore the same location and help each other out. Trade. I can trade and, you know, give somebody 1 card. Let's say the wizard let's say the warrior was at the wooden bridge and he was fighting a monster, but he doesn't have any weapons. Oh no. Well, Kyra the cleric's there. Kyra can trade and give me this battle axe here. He has no use for it. He can give me the battle axe, and I can use it then. So that's how that works. And we'll see more as we go along. And let's just read our brief introductions before we get into playing. Okay? So we'll start with Ezran here. Ezran, after learning that the father whose name he'd spent most of his adult life trying to clear was indeed guilty, Ezran abandoned his former life and became a wizard. Finding no masters willing to take on an apprentice of his age, he devoted himself to unlocking the mysteries of magic alone. His studies soon revealed a true aptitude for the arcane arts, and he now seeks to explore the world he neglected for so long. So that's him. That's Ezran. Let's take a look at Valeros. Valeros is a good-hearted former mercenary whose longing for adventure convinced him to flee an arranged betrothal to a farmer's daughter. He trained himself in swordplay and spent many years as a mercenary, but now he fights for those in need. Though noble of heart and fiercely loyal, Valeros hides such sentiments under a jaded and crass demeanor, frequently observing that there's nothing better than an evening of hard drinking and soft company. Okay, and then we have Kyra. Kyra and her family grew up near a small temple to Serene, the goddess of healing, honesty and redemption, and the sun. When bandits attacked Kyra's village, Serene's princess defended the innocent, driving off the raiders at the cost of their lives and their sanctuary. Standing in the burning ruin of the temple, young Kyra swore her life and swore sword arm to the goddess, promising mercy to the deserving and a quick death to those who spread in darkness. Alright, so we have Perils of the Lost Coast. The Lost Coast might be tame, but nowhere in the frontier lands of Various is entirely safe. Recently, gangs of Kazanarzi bandits, unscrupulous human thieves, have targeted the people of the quiet town of Sandpoint. Dangers lurk in town as well, as several innocents have suffered the venom of a mysterious poisoner. But most fearful are the rumors of a slaughtered livestock and death soaring on shadow wings. Sandpoint needs heroes. Are you up to the challenge? And then Brigandoom is the Skenarzi, notorious thieving wanderers, have long run con games around Sandpoint, but they're under the leadership of Jubre Veliski. They become much more ambitious and dangerous. Someone needs to put an end to the brigandry before more than coins and livestock are lost. So that's the purpose of this one. And if a monster power causes you to recharge one or more cards, do so, then draw the same number of cards. And when we beat Brigandoom, which is this scenario here, we draw a random item from the box. We're at low level, so, you know, but when we complete this entire scenario, we gain a skill feat. And that means we can come over here and put a check mark on one of our things, like one of these skills. See what I'm saying? So we could come put a check mark by one of them. So if I wanted to choose my hand size or light armor, or add a 1d4 To another character's combat check at your location, +1. See, I can always do that. When you play a weapon, I can recharge it instead of discarding it. So he's really good. I mean, that's automatically what he gets to do. So when another character's location is dealt combat damage, reduce that damage by 1, and then you can check mark it by 2. So that's how you build up those guys. Okay, so we're fixing to get started. Let me get a few more things going, and we'll get going. Alright, we're ready to go. And Ezrin here, he's going to go first. And let's see, after you play a spell with the arcane trait, and you see some of these things have the arcane trait on there, you may examine the top card of your deck. If it's a spell, you may put it in your hand. If you acquire a card with the magic trait during exploration, you may immediately explore again. And you want to explore and keep exploring. You only get 1 explore on your turn. But if you have things that you keep exploring, that helps out because that makes things go by quicker. So I want to send him to the academy, actually. Let's do that because there's a lot of spells there. So I want to see what kind of spells he wants to get. You can see, if you look at this is Magic, Divine, Attack, Elite. Well, he wants spells that have Arcane. He's better that way. So let's go explore with him. It's the first turn. We put down our blessing, and let's see what we get here. Now we have a thing that says on your first exploration on a turn, if you encounter anything other than a spell after exploration, you may explore again. So we get a free explore if we encounter anything but a spell. So let's see what we get. We get a cure. This is a spell. It's a healing spell, so it's not one he really wants to get. Reveal this card. Okay, so he can acquire this with a 6. Alright, so he has to it says check to acquire Wisdom or Divine, and then you have to get a 6 or higher. Well, let's look at his thing. His Wisdom is 8, and he doesn't have a Divine anywhere on there. So he would have to use his Wisdom, which would be a D8. Now, I really don't think I really want that spell for him. I could get it, and then later on trade it to my cleric, who could have it. I could do that. However, if I do get this spell because of my special ability, I could explore again. So there's that. So I mean, it's not gonna hurt to try. If I don't get it, I don't get it. I get no. There's no negative effects if I roll and don't get it. So let's go ahead. We'll roll. Let's see what I get. I got a 3. Well, of course, I didn't make it. Alright, so there we go. I don't get it. I don't get to explore anymore. So, yeah. There's that. I'll put this back here. Let me spread these out just a little bit. Put that there. Okay, so that was his turn. It's kind of a excuse me, a waste of a turn. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm good with that. Okay. Alright, so Valero's here. Let's see where we want to take him. First, let's do our blessing. So we have a blessing of La Mishitu. Yeah. Okay. As you can see, I only have 1 weapon. So let's see. Let's go someplace where there's not a lot of monsters right off the bat. But that's not going to be in any place on this one. Okay. Tell you what. He's a good fighter, even without. So let's send him someplace like the woods. There's a couple monsters there. Undefeated monsters other than villains or henchmen are banished. So That means you take it out the game. And we were supposed to, if we couldn't acquire this, we were supposed to banish it too, but I don't want to put it back in the box right now. I'll just, you know, stick it off to the side. Okay, so we got our first one, and we have a potion of fortitude that I can get. And I have to get intelligence 4 or higher. My intelligence, I use a D6. I can try to get it. It's a kind of a good card I had, but let's see. No, I do not get it. Okay, now I didn't get it. However, I do have a couple blessings here. Let's see. I'm gonna play this, and I want to discard this card to explore my location. I'm gonna explore again. So let's explore again. And this time I have a mace. And it's an okay weapon. It's melee, so it's pretty good. We need a strength melee 4 higher. Now remember, he has 10 plus 3. So all I need really, I'm automatically going to succeed at getting this because all I would need would be a 1. Because I have it has the melee trait, and I have the melee trait. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. So I have a mace. It's a good weapon. And you know what? I think I'm going to play some odds here. I'm going to go ahead and explore again. And let's keep going. And we get, alright, we get a bandit. Now here we go. Here's the henchman. I can try to beat him. It says, before the encounter, recharge a card of your choice from your hand. And I think I'll recharge the spike chain. How about we do that? So let's put that on the bottom of the deck. And then if defeated, you may immediately tap to close the location. Alright, so I think we're going to try to beat him. Now, I have, for your combat check, reveal this card. Alright, we're going to reveal to roll your strength or melee 1 die 8. Plus 1 die 8. So I get this, plus an 8. You may additionally discard this card to add another 1d4. I don't think I will. However, I need an 8 or higher to beat him. And you know, the odds are pretty good. I get a plus 3 right off the bat because I get that. So I need just 5 or higher to beat this guy rolling these 2 dice. Let's do that. Let's just go ahead and do that. Okay, well I got a 7. So I beat him. Okay, so he's beat. The bandit is beaten. I can immediately attempt to close this location. Now, when closing, succeed at a wisdom or a survival 6 check. Now let's look at my wisdom. See, now that's not that good. See, I have a D4. Now I could play this blessing, which would give me another D4, but still, I mean, that's just 2 4-sided dice. Jeez, that does not give me a good. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to leave this location open, and another character with a better wisdom, like him, he gets to roll a D12. He can go there, explore, and then close the location. And as a matter of fact, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna end his turn. I'm gonna draw 2 more cards for my hand size, and there we go. All right. And so let's play this blessing, and we are sending him here, and he's going to explore. And here we go, a giant gecko. Okay, so combat of 8. Well, we do have a couple things. We got a battle axe. He has a melee strength plus 2. So, and then we have flaming mace plus 1. Ooh. Okay, this one says if we're not proficient. He's not proficient, so we're going to use the mace. For your combat check, reveal this card to roll your strength or melee, which is a D6. Plus 1 die 8. Okay. Plus 1. So I automatically get 2 right off the bat. So I just need 6 or better. Now, however, he is at the same location, and he has an ability. It says, when another location, add 1d4 to another character's combat check at your location. So we're going to add a d4. So I think the odds are pretty good we can go ahead and beat this. And I think that's what's going to happen. So we're going to roll, and we do. We beat it. So we beat the gecko. Now I'm going to try to close this location. Now I get a d12. Okay. Because my wisdom. And just in case, I'm going to go ahead and play a blessing of the gods. Just in case, because we really want to close this location. So I get to roll another 12-sided die. I need a 6 or higher. And we get it. No problem. Okay, so this location is now closed. It is done with. There we are. Alright, and that's the end of his turn. And let's see what he had. Instead of your first exploration on a turn, you may reveal a card with divine trait. No, I didn't want to do any of that. Okay, so let me draw a card. There's an ally. And it is now Ezrin's turn. So let's do the blessing deck here. And he's going to stay at the academy. And we're going to go ahead and explore again. And uh-oh, he finds a cultist. Ooh. Okay, so remember, on your first turn and your first exploration turn, if you encounter anything other than a spell, you may explore again. So we're going to get to explore again no matter what. Okay, so now I got to fight this guy. And I need a 9. Let me see what I have. I think I'm good at arcane. So what I may think I may do is use lightning touch. Okay, so let's play this. Alright, for your combat check, discard this card to roll your arcane die plus 2d4. So I get 2 4-sided dice, and my arcane is going to be a d12. That's not bad. If you do not have the arcane skill, banish this card, but I do have it, so I don't have to banish it. I can keep this card. I just have to discard it. Now I can recharge, succeed in arcane 6 checks, read this card, do this instead of banishing it, which I will do after my encounter. Okay, and then it says right here, after you play a spell with arcane, you may examine the top card of your deck. If it's a spell, you may put it in your hand. So we'll go ahead and examine it. It is not a spell, so I don't get to put it in my hand. Okay, so I have this. And as you notice, I have an arcane plus 2, so I automatically got 2. So I'm going to need 7 or higher with these dice to beat this guy. So let's see. And I got it. So I got 7 or higher. I beat that guy. Good. He's out. So we'll put him over here. And now let me see if I want to recharge it, which I want to do. So let's do an arcane 6. I need a 4 or higher. And I got it. So I get to recharge my lightning touch. And I get to explore again because this thing was not a spell. So let's go ahead and explore again. And we have a spell here, Detect Magic. Now this is an arcane. All I need is a 2 or higher to get this. I've automatically got a 2. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. So I think that's going to be the end of my turn. Let's see here. Do I want to get rid of anything and try to get another? I don't see me doing any acrobatics, so I'll tell you what. I'll discard that, and I'll get rid of the Detect Magic, and so I'll draw 2 cards: Potion of Healing and Thieves' Tools. Okay, so next turn is our warrior. And we're going to send him to the wooden bridge. It has a couple monsters there. So let's go. You may discard 2 cards to invade an encounter. Well, I probably don't want to do much evading. So let's see what we get. And we get a zombie giant. Uh-oh. The giant is immune to mental and poison traits. Well, I don't have any of those. Alright, so we need a 13 to beat this guy. This guy is not going to be easy. But I think we can do it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use my mace. And it says, Alright, so let's go ahead and do our strength or melee, which is a 10-sider. I think I used a 12-sider last time, but that didn't make a difference. Okay, alright, so let's do that. And let's get a D8. Okay. And I think I'm going to discard it to add 1d4. Okay. Now it says when you play a weapon, you may recharge it instead of discarding it. So I'm going to go ahead and recharge this. And then I have this blessing here, which I'm going to go ahead and play. And I'm going to discard, add 2 dice to a combat strength die. Now my base is 10, so I got this. I add 2 more 10-sider die. Let's beat this guy. 13 or higher. Come on. Alright, we got, oh yeah, 12, 13 right there. So we beat him. Alright. That's good. Okay, so we know we got a good heavy monster out of there. I think that's going to be the end of his turn. And I think we'll just draw 2 more cards. And we'll end our turn. Okay, let's do our blessing. What is Ezra here? Where do we want to take him? Well, let's have him go. Let's have him in the Valeros team up here, because Valeros gives combat bonus to somebody there, and we still got a couple weapons. So let's go ahead and do that. So he's going to go to the wooden bridge. Let's see what we get. We get an ally, a standard bearer. It says recharge. Okay, Constitution or Charisma Diplomacy. Let's see what we got. Well, Constitution is a D6 for us, so there's no way we're gonna get him using Constitution. Charisma is a D6 as well. I could use a blessing to do that, but I don't think I'm gonna worry about that. I'll just roll the 6-sider. If we get it, hey. If we don't, and we don't. Okay, so the standard bearer is done. We didn't get him. It's fine. And I think I'm going to keep my hand the way it is. I think I'm going to go ahead and discard the battle axe though and get a new card. And that'll be the end of that turn. Alright, Ezra here is back at the academy. Let's see what he gets. Okay, so we get to explore again. And there's a Mary Kendra Dervern. She's an ally. We need a charisma or diplomacy of 10. There's no way we're going to get that. So we'll go ahead and discard it. And we're going to explore again here. And let's see what we get. Tome of Knowledge. Okay, so we can get intelligence or knowledge 5. We have good intelligence and knowledge. Actually, all we need is 3 because we get a +2. And we got it. So we got this Tome of Knowledge. Alright, so what do I want to do with this? Let's see here. I think what I'll do is I'll get rid of this mending spell. This will be the end of my turn. I'll take that and we'll leave that there. Okay. Alright, so let's do the next blessing. Valeros. Alright, so let's go Valeros here. We have a Night Watch. Okay, well, I do have a good diplomacy charisma. It's +2. So I can roll a 6-sider die and add +2, and if I get a 6, I get them. Oh, I didn't. Well, okay. And I think I'm going to discard one of these half plates. Take a short sword. And that's the end of his turn. Alright. Kyra here is going to explore. Let's see what he gets. A wooden shield. Well, Constitution is fixed, but he has good fortitude. I think he can get this. Let's see here. He does. Okay, so I can grab this. And let's see what I want to do again. Okay, I tell you what. We're going to keep this. We're going to play Blessing of the Gods, and we're going to go exploring again. And we're going to see what's here. Ah. Alright, if you encounter this card, you automatically acquire it. Okay, so I automatically acquire it, and you know what? Let's play it and explore again. Alright, here, Goblin Commando. Okay, here we go. We have a monster here. It says, before the encounter, the Goblin deals 1 ranged combat damage to you. Okay, so, well, good thing I just got this wooden shield. Recharge this card to reduce combat damage dealt to you by 2. Okay. If you played a weapon with the two-handed trait on this check, you may not play this card. Well, I didn't, so let's recharge this. So I don't take that 1 combat damage. And now I have to fight this goblin who's got it 9. And I think I'll do I'll get 1 4, and I'll reveal my flaming mace, and I'll get a D8. And then my strength is a D6. So I think this is good enough to beat the goblin. Yes, it is. I have a 10, so I beat this goblin commando. No problem. Okay, so what do I want to do? I think, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going. I'm going to discard this card, and we're going to keep exploring. We're just going to keep on pushing. And here we go. Oh, a barrier. Okay, here we go. A large chest here. It says, okay, so the difficulty to defeat the barrier is increased by the adventure deck number of the current scenario. Well, the adventure deck number is going to be 1. Alright. If defeated, add 1 die 4 random weapons from the box to your hand. If undefeated, you can banish it. So I found this chest. Now, this guy is not good. I couldn't do it with strength or melee. Dexterity, I have a D4. I can't do it. So there's no way I'm going to defeat this. So I'll just go ahead and put that there. It's done. And I think that's going to be the end of my turn. And I will draw 2 new cards. And that's it. Alright, let's do another blessing here. Ezrin here is still at the academy. So let's see what he gets. He gets a barrier. Well, now, again, I do have the Thieves' Tools. So, I know I can't do it with strength, but I do have the Thieves' Tools here. And the Thieves' Tools are reveal this card, add 1 die to your disabled check. Well, my dexterity is 6. I could add another 6 and just try for it. And if I get it, I don't. This card, whose difficulty to beat is 11 or lower. Okay, so let's go ahead and discard it. I will beat this chest. And I get to add 1 die 4 random weapons to my hand. I can add 2 random weapons to my hand. Okay. Let's see. It's 1, 2. I shuffled them, so they're going to be random. And I have a long spear and a quarterstaff. Well, let's see here. I can explore again. So let's go ahead and explore and see what we come up with here. A charm person. Okay, this is a spell. This is an arcane. Alright. I'll get a D12. I should have no problem doing this. No problem. So I'll grab this. Okay, so that's probably going to be the end of his turn. I got to get rid of 2 cards. And I think I'll get rid of the long spear. That's not really going to help me. And I'll get rid of the darts. And I think what I'll do is I'll bury this card, which is going to go here. And I'm going to add 1 random ally to my hand. Okay, and I had a burglar. Okay. Valero's here. Well, he's still here, so we're going to keep exploring the wooden bridge. And let's see what we get. We get a mercenary. Alright. Increased by the venture, if any. Okay, so it's not going to go up any. So we need a 10 or higher to beat him. So I have my short sword. I'm going to roll my strength, which is a 10. And you may roll your strength or melee plus 1 die 6. So get this. And you additionally discard Well, I am proficient with weapons, so that's not going to be a problem with that. So I think I will discard this. Okay, I can just recharge it. So I'm going to go ahead and end up recharging, and I'll add another D6. So let's go. Let's recharge that. Let's see. Got to get a 10 or higher. Well, I got it. No problem. So we beat this mercenary. He's beaten. I think that's in the Valeros' turn. Yeah. And let's draw a card. We get a crowbar. Okay. Alright. Alright. Let's do Kyra. He's still here. We still haven't run into anybody. Let's see what we get. A sage. Okay. Now we got a good wisdom, so there's a good chance we can get this guy. 5. However, let's see here. I have wisdom. My regular wisdom is not good enough. So I did not get this guy. Okay, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to go ahead and we're going to play this. And we're going to explore again. And this should be the last thing. And it is a bandit. Alright, so I have to recharge a card from my hand. So I'll recharge his ally. Alright, we're going to fight this dude. And let's see here. Combat of 8. So what we're going to do is play our Flaming Mace. We're going to reveal this card. We're going to roll a strength and 1d8. So our strength is 6. 1d8 plus Valeros is there. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, so and if I want to, I'll play a Blessing of the Gods. But you know what? It only needs an 8. I don't think I should. So let's do this. Alright, well that's 7 and 1 and 1. I beat it. So the bandit has been beaten. And let's try to close the this thing here. Let's see. A dexterity or stealth 6 check. Well, that's not going to happen with him. Even if I played a blessing, I would get... That's not how... Okay, so what I may do is I may have Valeros just stay there. And his dexterity is a little bit better. And try to do with him. So that's probably what I'll do. So this next turn, oh, let's get our hand back. All right, so next turn here, Ezran, he's still here at the academy. So let's have a go at what we have. Acid arrow. Okay, well that shouldn't be too hard to acquire for that. A 3. However, I have arcane +2. I almost whiffed that. So alright, so we got it. That's my only explorer. I think I'll give up the holy light here. Let's see. He would be good. I think I'll have okay. And I think that'll be it for his turn. Another arcane armor. Great. Alright. Valeros' turn. Alright, Valeros, can we close that? Dexterity or stealth? Well, not really. So I think we're going to move Valeros. Here, he's going to move. We're going to send him to the farmhouse. Here at the farmhouse, if you would discard an ally, bury it instead. Let's see what we get. We get bracers of protection. Intelligence arcane. Well, his intelligence is not that great, but he's got a chance. And he does. He gets it. So, hey, he'll take it. Alright, so that'd be... it's magic. Let's get rid of the crossbow. And I think that's going to end his turn. Next is Kyrus, and we'll send Kyra here to the farmhouse. And see what we get. A dagger. Look at that. Okay, so that's going to be free combat. Okay, dexterity or range. Again, this guy's not that good at dexterity. I don't think we're going to get it. We did not. So we have to get rid of the dagger. And I think what I'll do is... I mean, we're all looking good on cards. I'll get rid of the boots of Elvenkind and chainmail. Okay. Alright, so it's Ezra's turn. He's still at the academy. We're plodding along here. And we have, the villain. Okay. Before the encounter, recharge 2 of your cards of your choice from your hand. Okay, I think I will do Arcane Armor and the Quarterstaff. I'll recharge those 2. Okay, so here we go. This guy has a 10. Alright, I'm going to play Acid Arrow. For your combat check, discard this card to roll your Arcane die and 2 die 4 with the Acid trait. Okay, my Arcane I do have as a 12, 2 die 4. So I can recharge this card. Because, alright, let's see. After you play Arcane trait, you may examine the top card of your deck. Let's do that. It is not. Okay, it's fine. Oh, I could recharge it. Alright, so let's see. That's what I have so far to beat this guy. This guy takes a 10 or higher to beat him. I don't have anything else. I do have +2. So let's hope I roll good. Okay, 5 + 4 is 9, +3. Okay, so I beat the guy. That's fine. Now, I beat him automatically. Now, when you beat the villain at a location and he moves to another location, you automatically close that location. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to close this location. The Arcane Academy is done with. This guy's going to move, and it says on closing you may shuffle a spell from your hand to your discard pile into your hand, into my deck. I'm going to go ahead and do Acid Arrow, put that in my deck, and shuffle some cards, and then I'm going to do the thing where I move him. So I'll be right back. Alright, so that was Ezra's turn. We've closed that. So let's do Valeros. He's here at the farmhouse. Let's see what we get next. We get a guide. Let's see, Wisdom, Survival. He's not that great on that. So Charisma, Diplomacy. He is okay on that. So let's see if I can get that. I can take the guide. And I think I'm going to go ahead and discard to keep exploring. So let's keep exploring here. Let's see what else we get. A Goblin Warrior. Okay, he's not too hard. A 9. So we don't have any weapons though, except for the short bow. He goes by Dexterity. However, he's fine at Dexterity. So we're going to do it 8. And then revealed, add 1d6. This card is, if you are proficient with weapons, which he is, you may discard this card to add 1 die 4 to combat check at a low location. Well, that's not going to be it. So I only have these to roll with. So, excuse me. Well, look at that. A 6 + 3 is 9. Right on the dot. Oh, that was a close call. But we beat him. Alright. So that's that. And I think what I'm going to do is, I think we're done. I'll discard a card. I'll draw another card. I got the Holy Candle. He's done. Alright, so it's Kyra's turn. Kyra's going to explore. And we find a zombie. The zombie is immune to mental and poison. Half the damage. Okay. Alright. So we know we're going to get a 4 because Valeros is at my location. I have the Flaming Mace. Let's add a d8. And let's add my Strength, which is a 6. And I think that's going to be good. We should beat this guy. This guy got 9. Yes, beat it. No problem. Alright. Alright. Let's see here. Oh, that's right. I had to discard an ally. I had to bury that one. Alright, so do I want to explore again? Yeah, why not? Let's use the Blessing of the Gods. And let's keep exploring. And we have a Luckstone. Well, his wisdom is 12, so there is a good chance he can take that. He does. And we've acquired the luck stone. And I think that's going to be it for them. Let's do Ezrin. He's going to go to the wooden bridge. Hopefully this is a blessing and then he can close this location. It is. So he immediately acquires this. And he's going to use his burglar here to add 1d10 to your stealth check. Okay, so let's do that. Yeah, we have to do a dexterity or stealth. His dexterity is 6. That's fine. And I think just in case, we'll get rid of this blessing here. And because we want to close this location down. And no problem. Alright. You may bury a card from your hand to recharge a card. I don't think I'm going to do that. So that's another location. 3 locations closed down. So we know our villain is at one of these locations. And it's Valeros' turn. And he's going to explore. Let's see what he gets. Well, this is a bandit. Here we go. We can do this. We have to recharge a card. I'll recharge bracers of protection. Alright. So my short bow here. Well, I have a 1d6 and a 1d8. I only need 8 to beat this guy. Where's the 8? There we go. So hopefully I can roll. Alright, got an 8 right on the dot, man. Whoo, he's getting lucky. So we beat him. Okay, so now we can immediately close this location. Summon and defeat a random monster. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick here, and we got this guy right here. This is a sneak. Succeed at a wisdom or discard one. Alright, well, I'm not going to succeed at that, so I'm going to have to get rid of a card. And I'll get rid of the holy candle. And I got to beat this guy. And if I can beat him, we can close this location. If not, we're in trouble. Alright. I'm again freaking on the money. A 9 right on the dot. So we beat him. Okay, so the sneak is gone. Alright, we beat him. Now, let's see what happens. Now, if the villain is in here, we're just going to move him to the waterfront, okay? That's all we'd have to do. We look at the deck and see what was in here. And the villain is not in here. So this location is now closed permanently. We know where the villain is at. No effect. Alright, so we're going to draw 2 cards for him. And Kyra is going to move there. And let's do a blessing here. And let's do the waterfront. And we get an ambush. The difficulty to defeat the barrier is increased by the... Okay, so again, it's not going to be hard. If defeated, you may immediately explore again. Okay. Weapon, wisdom, perception, dexterity, acrobatics. Well, we have a good wisdom. So we got a 12. I have this find traps. Discard this card to add 2 dice to any check to defeat a barrier. If I do not have the divine skill, banish this card. I do have the divine skill, so I'm not going to have to banish it. So let's go ahead and add 2 more dice. And let's see if we can beat this thing. And we do by 1 point. Oh, alright, so we beat this. That means we can explore again, so let's keep exploring. And we have a ghost. The ghost is immune to mental. If your check does not have the magic trait, the ghost is undefeated. Okay, however, that's not going to come into play because I'm going to use my mace and it does have the magic trait. If it means undefeated, that means we just shuffle it back in the deck. So we're going to fight the ghost. We're going to get an 8-sider. Of course. And I think what we'll do is we have to use our combat, which is 6. And the ghost is still pretty hard. I could use my wisdom or divine Or I could use the force missile, but doesn't have arcane. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and discard this card. The mace was good. We're going to add another 4. So we need 12. Let's see what we get. Okay, we have 6 plus 4 plus 1 is 11. Plus 1, because of the mace, 12. So we beat the ghost. It cost us our mace, but that's fine. So let's go ahead. I think that's going to end our turn. We're going to draw some more cards. And now Ezran's coming here. Let's see what he does. When playing a weapon, subtract 1 from each roll. After exploration, you may... Whoa. 1 from each one rolled. That would have been 3 dice. So it'd been minus 3. But I did get plus 1, plus 2 on the strength. So it's 3. And then the mace is 1d8 plus 1. So I would have got plus 4 minus 3. Okay, yeah, I would beat it. That's fine. Woo. Alright, the waterfront here. A guard. Alright. Constitution, Fortitude, or Charisma, Diplomacy. I have a D6. There's a possibility I could try. No. Alright, so I can't get him. Okay, I think that's it. Yep. We'll go ahead and get a new card. I should have had a new card anyways in the first place. Alright, so it's Valeros' turn, and he's coming here, so everybody's here at the waterfront. Let's see what happens. This guy. Before the encounter, put 1 card of your choice from your hand on top of your deck. I'll put the short bow on top of my deck. Alright, so it looks like I'm going to be using my light crossbow here. For your combat check, reveal this card, roll your dexterity, which is a D8, and add a D8. And if proficient, you may discard this card. It's fine. I get to recharge it and add 1d4. Oh, that's at another location. Yeah. Alright, well, I need a 9. I got a 7 and a 6. That's fine. I beat this guy. And I think that'll be the end of my turn. Let me go ahead and draw 2 cards. We knew one of them was going to be a short bow. I have the wooden shield. And it's Kyra's turn. So Kyra's going to explore. Let's see what he gets. Collapse ceiling. Alright, the difficulty defeat. Okay, if you fail by the check 4 or more, you are dealt 1 combat damage, not be reduced. Okay, so dexterity, acrobatics, constitution, or fortitude. Well, I do have a good constitution fortitude, so I'm going to roll a d6. I do get a plus 3. And I think I'm going to use the luck stone. It's going to add me plus 1 to my check. So I get plus 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. That is terrible. That is not going to do it. Okay, well, I'm going to take 2 damage. I can recharge my chainmail to reduce my combat by 2, which I will do. And this collapsed ceiling is now stayed there. And that's it. And that's the end of my turn. So let me draw 2 more cards. And let's do this. Okay, Ezra's got to face this thing. Can he do anything? Non-combat intelligence or wisdom check. Well, that's not going to cut it. He can't do anything. So we're just going to end his turn. Valeros' turn. Okay, he has the burglar, so we're gonna recharge his card, add 1 to your 10. Okay, so we're gonna add a 10-sider die. Let's do this. Let's recharge this. Okay, and then we have our dexterity, constitution. Everything's 8. Let's do that. We'll use an 8-sider die. Let's beat this thing. Okay, we beat it. Alright, so we beat the collapsed ceiling. It's finally done. And I think that's it for him. So we'll go ahead and draw him a card. Uh oh, we gotta get get this done. We're running out of time. It's Kyra's turn. Potion of ruggedness. Intelligence or craft. D6. Ugh. Oh, he caught it. Okay. Huh. Alright. Oh man, do I want to keep going? I have a couple turns left. I think what I'll do is I'll get rid of Detect Magic. Father here. And that's it. So it's Ezrin's turn. We're going to keep going. A bandit. Alright. We'll just recharge a card. We'll recharge Detect Magic. Alright, so if we defeat this guy, we automatically can try to close the location. That means the bandit will come up and we automatically get to try to fight him. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to use the acid arrow and my arcane is 12 plus 2 die 4. Alright, so, oh boy, that's not a good roll at all. That's 5, 6, 7. Oh, wait a minute, he gets a 1d4 because Valeros is there. 8, 9. Alright, so we barely beat the bandit. Okay, so we barely beat the bandit. Let's see. We played a thing. Do I want this? I do. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to put this in my hand. I have the lightning touch in my hand. And I think I'm going to try to succeed at Arcane 6. Alright. I didn't make that, so I got to discard this. So that's fine. I don't get to recharge it. However, we beat him. So now what's going to happen is instead of closing the location, this guy is automatically brought out to 4. Okay, so he's brought out. So let's go ahead and get rid of these cards. He's the only one left at the waterfront. And I think what's going to happen is that's the end of his turn. So I'll draw another card. And it's Valeros' turn. Now Valeros, I don't want him to go. So what we'll do is that was Valeros' turn. The cleric's not going to go. There we go. And now it is. Oh yeah, I've got rid of these. I would have discarded these and gained 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now we're gonna fight this guy, no problem. Recharge 2 cards of my choice. I'll do the glibness and I'll do the quarterstaff. Let's recharge them. Now I'm gonna fight this guy. Of course, I know I get a 1d4 because Valeros is with me. I can recharge this card. I'm not doing a melee, so that's not. But I do get the lightning touch. I'm gonna get my arcane, which is a d12, and 2 more d4s. And all I gotta do is get a 10 or higher to beat this guy. When playing a weapon, I'm not playing a weapon, so I don't have to worry about that. And look at that, no problem. So I beat this guy. This guy's been beaten. We beat him at the waterfront. We ganged up on him. We beat this scenario. Each character draws a random item from the box. So what we're going to do is, it's going to get crowbar, He's going to get a blast stone, and he's going to get a blast stone as well. And now we won. So what I would do now is I would take all these cards, separate them basically by thing, and I get to have my pick and choose of what I want and what character carries what. Isn't that great? And that's just for completing this scenario. So the next time we play, we're going to keep going with this this scenario. We'll have the next adventure, which is the poison pill. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned how to play Pathfinder. They have 4 sets, as you can see over there. And I like this game. If you like good deck games and you like fantasy games, and you have the money, because this is an expensive investment. You're gonna have to get the base set. If you want extra characters, you're gonna have to get character packs, and then you have the 5 other adventures you'd have to purchase. I think they're like $20 a piece, somewhere around there. It is an investment, but you put it all in this one box, and you just carry the box around. And for each thing, you have Skull and Shackles, Ratchet the Righteous, and the Mummy one, the Mummy's Mask. You carry them each around as well. If you have the money, and you don't have to know anything about Pathfinder. Like I said, I didn't. So if you have the money, you like deck building games, you like fantasy games, I highly recommend Pathfinder, Rise of the Runelords, or any of the other ones. Some are better than the others. I think Skull and Shackles introduces firearms and boats and stuff like that, and they each add something a little new. So, like I said, I would highly recommend it. It's a fun game. You can play it solo, play it with friends. You can just kill time with it, you know, and have fun. It's easy to set up, easy to organize. Great game in my opinion. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Until then, have fun.